Hi, and welcome back to my channel where I am revisiting some of my earlier class-related videos, clearing up a few issues, and bringing them forward in relation to using the character wizard to create them. The intent is to take my older, longer versions of the videos where I initially covered the fighter classes in combination with their class specializations, with much shorter videos that explain just the base class, and thus break out the class specializations into separate videos. This will allow me to remove the longer videos as I begin to replace the specific class specializations covered in a given video with their much shorter counterparts. In this short 4-part series, I will explain what the base fighter class is and go through the process of creating a character that uses this class. Additionally, I will go over each level's features and show how they can be configured within the character sheet for use within various situations. So let's begin with explaining what a fighter is in relation to D&D 5th edition. The fighter class is the quintessential melee brawler, who is usually face-to-face with their opponent, at least for the most part. There are a few fighter classes that do specialize in ranged combat, but the bulk of the class features focus on close quarters combat. This is because the fighter is usually the one who runs right into the middle of a fight, joining other melee classes to sow chaos into the enemy ranks, and quickly overwhelm that enemy. However, when you introduce the class specializations into the mix, the class ends up with quite a wide range of flexibility, and it's very rare for a player not to find something that they might not like to play. What this means is that if you do choose to take a fighter class, you'll definitely have a class specialization that you can use for your own playstyle. These can include being a noble knight who wants to protect the citizenry from all evil, a champion who wants to rally the masses to bring forth victory, all the way through to being a scrappy eldritch fighter who can handle close quarters combat but also pick off longer range targets with spellcasting capabilities. There is a wide range of options available for you to choose from, and this class is perfect for a new player to take, as not only do they have the above capabilities, but they are also generally the kind of character that has a higher overall HP, thus providing a little bit of forgiveness through soaking up a lot more of the damage at earlier levels. Another aspect of the fighter class comes down to the kinds of armor that they can wear, and their ability to gain extra attacks as the character levels up. Characters who usually take this class will most often be involved in close quarters combat, and because of that, they generally are allowed to wear heavier classes of armor, and make use of things like shields, which is not necessarily something that all classes get proficiencies in. Also at specific levels, fighters gain the means to use extra attacks, and this is over and above their offhand bonus attacks that they already can make use of, such that by the time they reach the higher levels, they can hit a single target multiple times or multiple targets within the same attack action. As a result, most players see the fighter as the tank of the group during those earlier levels, and this is primarily due to the higher AC that a character can typically start with, and the total higher hit points that that character is going to have, in addition to the hit points they're going to gain, provided they get good rolls during the leveling up processes. Over time, as the character levels up, they will retain the tanking role, but they also start to increase the amount of damage that they can do through their extra attacks. However, these are really just the highlights. It's going to be a combination of your own imagination and your own playstyle that can take characters of the fighter class to the edges of their capabilities and really make it an enjoyable experience. As a fighter is generally in close and personal when it comes to combat, they need to be able to increase their survivability. Additionally, fighters are typically the stronger of other classes as well with respect to their ability scores and their character representation. Not all the time, but a lot of players will go through and visualize their character as large, muscular, and bulky with respect to that muscle because they have such a higher strength score with respect to their character. Nowadays, players bring in the lean, yet still strong kind of design and visualization with respect to their characters, so you've got a high level of flexibility here when it comes down to do that, but historically, it's generally the large, bulky, muscular individuals. As a result of this, the fighter class puts the emphasis on the strength and dexterity ability scores in combination with constitution for most of the class specializations, although some do add the requirement of intelligence with respect to spellcasting, whenever that comes into play. For newer players, I highly recommend strength and dexterity be your two top stats, with constitution and intelligence being the next focus to give you a little bit of flexibility when you get to the point of being able to choose your class specialization. Wisdom and charisma are not as important when it comes to the class specializations that have been introduced by the player's handbook, and as far as I know, are not really used for any other of the class specializations either. When it comes to who is going to really love to play this class, pretty much every player is going to really enjoy this class because it has such a wide range of class specializations that open up a large number of playstyles, which really covers the gamut for everybody. However, the perception of other players could impact how you might end up playing this character, because their expectation is going to be that because you took a fighter class character, you're going to tank the damage during combat. And if you don't make it clear from the outset that that is not your intent, you will eventually get railroaded into it. That assumes, of course, that you're not playing a fighter class for that very reason. I highly recommend that you check out all of the other various videos I've already published that deal with each of the class specializations, and that's just to give you an overall idea as to their overall capabilities. This way, when you do decide to choose a fighter class character, you will know exactly what it is that you're planning with respect to your class specializations. Thus, you'll be able to actually plan for that and thoroughly enjoy the playstyle because you already know where you're going. With respect to level advancement options for specialization in your character's role in the party, a fighter's class specialization is called a martial archetype. The means to gain a martial archetype is unlocked at fighter level 3, so you will have a few levels of play under your belt before you really have to choose and make a decision as to what your character's specialization is going to be. It is the role of the martial archetype which provides your characters more specialized capabilities, which include things like mastering battle tactics, the means to rally party members, casting spells, and even unlocking arcane abilities for archery and many other kinds of options. At the time of this recording, there are 3 martial archetypes that are provided by the player's handbook, and they are the Champion, Battle Master, and Eldritch Knight. One is introduced by the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, and it is called the Echo Knight. Another is introduced by the Swords Coast Adventurer's Guide, called the Purple Dragon Knight. 2 are added by Tasher's Cauldron of Everything, and they are called the Psy Warrior and Rune Knight. And just to be clear, that's Rune as in R-U-N-E, not R-U-I-N. And finally, 3 are introduced by Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and they are the Arcane Archer, Cavalier, and Samurai. This, of course, assumes that no new martial archetypes have been introduced by newer modules since this video was recorded. And in summary, as you can see, there are a wide range of options with respect to the various playstyles that can be unlocked by the martial archetypes, and all of them are going to rely on the character's strength and dexterity, in addition to the Constitution or Intelligence ability scores. This differs from earlier editions of Dungeons & Dragons with the introduction of new specialized dice rolls that changed how the martial archetypes made use of the player's abilities, and you'll see those when we get into the videos that cover those particular archetypes that do make use of those. With that, let's move on to the creation of a level 1 fighter class character. I want to thank you for watching this video, and if you found the information useful, click on that like button as well as leave a comment below, as it helps the channel gain exposure. Also, consider subscribing, as I release content similar to this topic quite regularly on the channel.